Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. In this video, I'm going to cover if Escape from Tarkov is worth purchasing for you. Up until now, I have played 2,300 hours of Escape from Tarkov. From the very first time I played it, I've seen the development process and how quickly it is progressing, and also the highs and lows of this time. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to understand if Escape from Tarkov is a game that you'd like to purchase. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. So from all the way back in my Half-Life days up until now, I have played a lot of first-person shooters. And let me start out by saying Escape from Tarkov is the best gunplay out of any first-person shooter I've ever played. You'll be able to get yourself into opportunities where it'll be decisions of, do I do a reload, do I charge, do I do a flank? The actual mechanics of the shooting is absolutely amazing. From this, the bones of the game has come down to a core mil sim first-person shooter that's going to give you the opportunity to live out your fantasies, I guess, in a first-person shooter where the smallest mistake will cost you your life and you'll lose a lot of gear because of that. The weapon customization is second to none. You can put different flashlights, different scopes, all these different handguards, stocks. It just gives you this world of opportunity, and it's based off real mods as well, giving you this game where you can pimp out your guns however you want. You can go fully geared or just go a base gun, and then go into these battles where it could be a solo player all the way up to a 5-man squad. You just never know. And even if you do down a 5-man squad, or what you think is a 5-man, you might have actually killed a random person in that instance, and then the 5th person's still alive. So every single time you go into a raid, you don't know what to expect. And that's what is the core bones of this game, which makes it so much fun. The unpredictability of every single time you go into a raid, what the hell is going to happen. And this leads into my next point, the development process. Now, since I started gaming as a child, I've always wanted to beta test games, be the first person to go check out a really awesome game and just help work out some of the kinks just before it's launched. But that's just it. A beta is generally a game that's just getting out its final kinks just before it launches. And to me, when Escape from Tarkov went from alpha to beta about 12 months ago, it really wasn't going from alpha to beta. It is still an alpha game. I know this will probably upset people that I'm actually saying stuff like this because I'm just speaking the truth really, but Escape from Tarkov is years from being released. Now, since I started playing about September last year, the game has gone through many different changes, from metas to just in general, but the development process is actually quite slow. I remember towards the end of last year, they were saying that the game would hopefully be released, or that the general consensus that the game would try to be released by the end of this year. Now, I'm confident to say that I do not believe this game will be released next year, and 2020 at best. There are so many things within this game that I know the developers want to add to the game, and it's kind of just almost like they've got this vision, but it's just unclear. They've released a roadmap at the start of this year, back in March, and out of that whole roadmap, there's barely anything being touched from it. There's a few optimization things and little things they wanted to add to the game, which have been added but not even completely added. Like, say, for example, magazine reloading. They added the magazine reloading but not the animations to it. And whilst I know developing a game is not an easy process, and I am not a programmer by any state, I am literally just a gamer that loves games and is very enthusiastic about it, the development process is very slow. A part of this development process also includes them doing what's called a wipe. A wipe is when they reset the game back to if you first purchased it and every single person starts again. Whilst I understand these are required for technical reasons and also to keep the game fresh for the player base that are currently playing it, it does detract from a lot of people playing the actual game and testing it. And there is a large amount of people that are getting frustrated over the process of the game being developed, which, hey, we're not the ones running the game and they're allowed to develop it however they want, but this information needs to be out there. There can be very frustrating times within the development process and progress of Escape from Tarkov. Next, moving over to cost. Now, if you purchase the game as a standard edition, it's around $40 US, all the way up to Edge of Darkness, which is $140 US. Now, to put this in the most layman terms possible, the difference between the $40 purchase and the $140 purchase is mostly quality of life. Whilst you do start with some extra items with Edge of Darkness, there's two main things that you actually get from Edge of Darkness that is limited in the standard edition. There's a container that is, whenever you go into a raid and die, anything inside that container you'll keep no matter what. So when you buy a standard edition, you'll have a 2x2 instead of a 3x3. At the moment, the best you can get from a standard edition doing tasks is a 2x4, which is 8 squares in total. Still not meeting the 3x3 of a Gamma container. They have stated that the Omicron container, which is going to be bigger than the Gamma, will be released in the future. So at the moment, whilst standard editions do miss out a little bit in that respect, eventually you'll be able to do tasks and get a container that's bigger than Gamma, making you even on that field with Edge of Darkness, making it more a pay for a head start and quality of life. The other side is you get a larger stash. Now with the standard edition and the recent additions of different containers within the game, you can make a standard edition stash work, and I've proved this multiple times on my stream. However, with an Edge of Darkness stash, there is a lot more room and you will have a better quality of life because you can store more weapons. So then effectively you can go in and out of raids and stress less about if you die so much, you have more room to store stuff when you do have a good winning streak of surviving. Now, I always base something off the value of how much the money is for the game. And if I want to play a game and it costs me $40, I want to get 1 hour up for each dollar spent. So for Escape from Tarkov, I'd want to get at least 40 hours on a standard edition to enjoy it. And then for an Edge of Darkness, 140. But $140 for a game that's not even complete is, in my mind, unheard of unless you really enjoy the game and you want to support the developers. And that is what really you're paying for. With Edge of Darkness, it does say you will get DLCs in the future, but with their current development process, I don't believe there's going to be any DLCs in the near future. It will be probably years away before you get advantage of that actual benefit. So really, you're actually paying to support the development process and the actual development team. So moving on to the potential for Escape from Tarkov. In my mind, Escape from Tarkov has the potential to be one of the best first-person shooter, survival, mil sim, MMO, FPS, open world games there ever is. However, it needs to get there. And to get there, it's going to take a long time. They've already announced they're moving over to the Unity 2018 engine, which is not an easy process. And it's going to take time. And then the end state, they want to have this open world. And it sounds amazing. Like this open world game where you can go in with all your friends and try and survive as long as you can. And you spend as minimal amount of time outside of raids as possible. You'll have hideouts where you can store your stuff and you can pimp that out however you want. And this all sounds great, but it's a very, very long process. I am happy to sit here and actually say though, but that the bones of the game is actually amazing. Like there is just no other game that in my previous history where I've had highs and lows as much as Escape from Tarkov, which directly goes into my next point. Fun. The game is ultimately really fun. I thoroughly enjoy it, and that's why I can play it every single day for pretty much the last year. I've played this game on average around 55 hours a week for the last year. And to me, it's just been a fun-filled adventure majority of the days, where other days I'll have like a shit day because I die heaps or I'm not enjoying it as much. But for me, I've had a lot of fun. There's highs where you'll just take down a squad and you'll just be like, holy crap, did that just happen? And there'll be lows where you'll just get like stomped on hours after hours. But that's the beauty of the game. The fun is in the small details that make it so enjoyable for you. Now, people ask me, like, how can you still enjoy the game after you play it so much and there's not really anything to do after you reach a certain point and you finish all your tasks or you get to a certain level and unlock all the traders? Well, to me, I feel like there's a limitless amount of ideas for your own personal challenges. There's people out there that do hardcore challenges. I made up one called the Nomad Challenge. And there's just all these ideas where people take in certain setups or that, and they call it like the Hitman Challenge or whatever they want to do. You can do that kind of stuff. Or you can like role play with your mates. It doesn't really matter. You can have as much fun in this as you like. It's just one of those games. The fun is there for you to make. But this is where I need to stress something. This game is probably the least casual friendly game I have ever played. I'm sure there's going to be people out there that don't agree with me. At the moment, if you want to play this game as a casual kind of player, really, in my mind, there's the scav mode, which is this way where you can go into a raid, you get the opportunity to go in and you've already got a setup and you can mess about and try and kill someone with lots of gear and then survive the raid, and you'll take that out and then you've got some cool gear. The PMC mode though is, at the start, if you don't have many hours to play, you'll go in with really minor gear. You might get lucky and kill someone, but overall, you're just going to get trumped on a lot. And in its very unforgiving nature, the game turns into this way where people are going in really budget setups, in the hope to kill someone fully geared, and then they'll go in fully geared, and then they'll die to either unlucky situation, just playing the game badly, or they might just actually get a freeze, a bug, an issue in the game, which isn't unheard of. It's actually quite common, where that causes them to die. And if you're only playing this game 1 or 2 hours a week, that is going to cripple your opinion on the game. And this is why there's so many people that love the game, because they've got the time to play it a lot, and they actually get to have all the cool gear and enjoy it. And then there's the other side where it's the people that only have a few hours a week, or they, play once a fortnight on a weekend. They'll play for a full day on the weekend. There is that enjoyment to be had, but it's a lot harder. There also has been a lot of issues of recent, and hopefully it's getting better, which I feel it has, but there's been a lot of hackers and people abusing glitches and exploits to ruin the game. Whilst BSG is working hard to make sure there's an anti-cheat in place to stop these people, there are a lot of issues with this. In the future, I hope that they'll have a really strong anti-cheat program or detection system, and they can ban plenty of people. But there is a lot of issues with people exploiting, and then the process, or the time it takes for these exploits to be fixed is quite lengthy. And for someone who plays the game a lot, or even casually, if they were to die fully geared with their only 1 or 2 good setups to one of these exploiters or hackers, they'd feel ripped off. So even as a tester, or whatever you want to call yourself in this development process, being an alpha or a beta, that can be very frustrating. And it's definitely something you need to take note of if you're thinking about purchasing this game. So in conclusion, and I love this game, so I am biased in some way, but seeing that I get asked these questions so much during my live stream, I feel it needs to be addressed in a thought out process with no holding back manner. And I do realize that this might be sounding like I'm biting the hand that feeds me. So here goes. If a game that is incomplete with still plenty of issues and a very slow development process doesn't bother you because if the raw game is so fun, then you'll enjoy it. I feel that it's probably the kind of person who doesn't mind dumping 20 to 50 hours a week into a game for a few weeks and then jumping onto another game and coming back when there's more stuff available, or playing it for a large portion of a few months and then coming back when the next wipe hits or the next major update hits. Then this game will probably really suit that kind of person, because if they love that kind of gameplay and they're good at first-person shooters and they don't mind putting that time into learning all the stuff, this game is for that kind of person. However, if you're the kind of person who likes to play a game for an hour or 2 a week, your computer's not the greatest because they're still struggling optimizations that may hinder your performance of the game, which also ultimately affects the performance, because if you have a lot more lag or issues with that, you'll die more, and it's very unforgiving, this game. Or you're not very good at first-person shooters and not willing to put in the hours to learn all the different things and tips and tricks to make it more successful in each of your raids, then I would strongly suggest holding on to your money at the moment. This game needs to get a more casual-friendly atmosphere and way of playing it before it's actually going to be better for those casual players. And I hope that in some way I can warn those people that if you get frustrated at games really easily and you can't put that time into it, maybe hold out and just wait for that bit longer and see if there's actually a lot more positive outlook in the future of Escape from Tarkov. There's kind of a lot of wishy-washy attitudes towards the game, and I feel like we're going to learn a lot more over the next 3 to 6 months when there's a lot of major updates apparently coming where it's going to really start pushing. And until there's that end game to really shine and show us what the game is going to look like, eventually at least, then until that point, you're probably better off holding out. Because I'd hate to see someone dump $140 US, which is in Australian dollars is like 230 Australian, into a game and then not play the game enough to actually get their enjoyment from it. So guys, I hope this was really informative for you. I know I didn't go too much into the actual core of the game itself and what the actual game is, but I was trying to warn the pros and the cons throughout the whole game. So guys, to wrap it up, thanks for watching another Escape from Tarkov video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for future content. If you have any Escape from Tarkov questions or just want to have a chat in general, I stream on Twitch 6 days a week. Give me a follow down on the link below. I'm happy to talk to you about any of this stuff. And finally guys, I'll see you next time.